Welcome everyone to Liberal Agencies Television. I hope this video finds you well in your location across the globe. During the last video, we spoke about the first law in human memory. And because the three laws of memory go together, that has inspired us to do the second and the third law in succession, so that our viewers who are following can be able to combine these laws together and be able to apply them. So today we'll continue with that topic and talk about the second and the third law of human memory. But before we settle down, let me allow our new viewers to subscribe and press the notification bell, so that next time we produce a video like this, you will always get automatic notification from YouTube. Simply just press the notification bell 1 minute. Thank you. I'm just going to rush you quickly and take you through these two laws, Law 2 and Law 3, because I'm having a very severe sore throat which affects me so much. I don't want to cough so much and interfere with the video. So I'll just try to summarize and move quickly. In the first part, we spoke about the law of impression. Where we touched about the few things here and there that can assist in mastering the information that we are given, that we receive. Now, the second law is the law of expression. I've just mentioned the first law was the law of impression. Now the second law today is the law of expression. See, these are exact opposite words. We defined impression in the last part, but expression is also just very simple. You see, expression, X is a prefix which stands for out, and press is a verb that means to push. You know, express. It's only mean to push out, express, push out. You know, that is how simple the second law is. This is the law of saying things out. It is the law of repetition. You know, when you want to master something very well, try to repeat what you are being taught. You know, and even a lot of teachers always tell their learners, when they have said maybe something they want the children to absorb, they will always ask them, repeat after me, and you see the people now repeat. When they define the thing, they ask the children or the pupil or the student to repeat again, you know. So as they continue repeating those things, they enter now their brains, their minds, you know. After you've repeated something once or twice, it's not very easy for you to forget. That is why most cases you find that the teacher always asks the students to repeat after me. That is the law of expression, you know. Something that you repeat regularly, even in these early childhood classes, you see that they're always taught in a manner that it comes out like a song. They just go and sing that song. And as the more now they sing the song repeatedly, those things enter their mind. So when you ask something, you find that they just can answer, they can recall through the song, you know. Repetition. And it's natural, it just comes natural. You see, like the sun always rises in the morning and sets in the evening. It is something that now has happened repeatedly, that if you ask anybody any time that now the sun has risen, what's the time, they always know it is in the morning. Even if you wake them up, they just know. When you say somebody, I'll come sunset, they know that is evening. Because this is something that has happened repeatedly. You don't even need to think. It's in the fingertips, you know. And most human usually forget things in the first 20 minutes. When something is said, or you say somebody go and tell so and so like this, the person can easily forget that thing in 20 minutes. And then he starts asking, what I was sent to somebody, what was I sent to? He can't remember. Even the students in the class, you can find that in the same lesson, when the teacher is still teaching the same lesson, if he asks the students some question on something that he has already spoken about in the same lesson, you'll find that most students have already forgotten, you know. Let me sip some glass of water. The students have already forgotten the question that has been asked in the very same lesson. So if the teacher wants to cane people, he can just find people to cane now, because I've just taught you now and you've forgotten. But you see, when the things are repeated, then you find that the children now will remember this thing. That's why you see the children are always told to do correction. You know? When somebody has gone to do correction, they never get it wrong now. All the correction they always get right, because now they are doing it for the second time. And then when now you make it a practice of repeating, even for the third time, fourth time, it sinks. So that's how the law of expression works. It's the law of repetition. You see, the mind is divided in 3 levels. There is the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that receives the information when it's said. That one is the level that picks it quickly when it's said. And then number 2, there is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, this is where now information is stored for a very long time. You know? I've not been feeling well. I have a sore throat, and I'm also coughing a lot. But I didn't want to take a break for a long time, because I don't want our viewers to miss our station for such a while. So I'll just ensure that I continue bringing for you these lessons and topics. So I was talking about the second level of the brain, which is now the subconscious. The subconscious mind is where now the things are usually stored for a very long time. And the things that have been stored here in this level are always remembered. You know, they are compressed there. When a question has been asked, if the information is in the subconscious mind, it is remembered quickly and you answer the question. You know? And then there's the third level, which is now the unconscious mind. In the unconscious mind, now this is a dangerous level now. Things that go to that level of being depressed to that level now where they are in the unconscious level is very difficult to remember, because they've been pressed in a state of, you know, you've had people being in depression. What has been pressed to that level now cannot be remembered. It is forgotten. You know? When somebody is in depression, he's in a situation like that. He can't remember things. You know? It's a very dangerous state. Those are I'm talking about the levels of the mind. Then now, another key thing to note in this law of expression is that you need to study in intervals. When you have a very wide topic to cover, don't insist that you have to cover it just continuously, even if it's a topic that goes for 4 hours. You know? Plan, divide your lessons maybe in 1 hour, so that after you've learned to a certain level, you can take a break, absorb what you've learned, because it's easy now to revise what you've learned in a short period. But if you do just everything in 4 hours continuous, you will find it very difficult now to start again revising or rewinding or repeating. That's why you see in many schools or all schools, the lessons are always divided into very short intervals. Maybe one topic comes from one point to another, maybe 1 hour. After that topic, another topic comes, another subject, even complete different thing, for another 1 hour. Then a completely different thing comes, another hour. You know, because if you change, it's like a break. It's like you are resting. You know. So when you've done all these things in bits like that, you can easily now come and revise them and repeat them. And this law, like we said, is the law of repetition. If you repeat something, the enter your system. Also to add in this law of expression is practice noting down things when you are taught. When you are being taught, you note down, write the notes. You see, even some teachers can take their time and copy for students some notes on the chalkboard so that they can also come and write them in their books. So even after the teacher has left, you can be able to remind yourself what you are being taught. You refer to your notes. If you read them again and again, now they sink. You know? You've heard even in church when you go there, the pastor will sometimes say, this one now I want you to note down. He's telling the congregation, this one now you have to note down. You know? He doesn't want you to forget that one. Because you can forget other things. But the things that you note down, when you go now to, after some time and check your books, you start seeing, okay, so this one was said like this, you know, you remind yourself. So it's not easy for you to forget. Noting things down. That is the peak of this law of expression. Just repetition law. It's a law about repetition. Try to learn to repeat what you want to learn. Once you have accepted that you are going to repeat things continuously without tiring, you'll be absorbing them and they'll be entering your brain deep to your heart. You know, the first law and the second law go together, just like that. See the information a lot, most of the time. Hear the information repeatedly. Write the information and also speak the information repeatedly. That is now I want to leave the law of expression to that at that level, so that I can take another law and close. The third law now is the law of classification. The law of classification also goes together with the other two. You know, if you can take them all together and combine them, they go together. And you find that you'll be able to always master your things very well. And also be able to learn very well. You will not be forgetting anything. As the name suggests, the law of classification is the law of grouping the facts in a systematic and organized manner in your mind. You know? In this law, you think about the facts from all angles, you know? By asking and answering questions about it. You see, when there's information that you've been given, you should be able to ask questions about that information. And you should be able to study those facts and answer those questions that you're asking about the facts. You know, it is the level of the law now that requires now study and research. This is the law where there's a lot of question asking and answering and researching, you know. when there's an information that has come, you need to ask, what about the information? Where did the information happen? Why? How? Things like those. And you should be able to answer all those questions. When information comes to you and you go to tell somebody, there are some facts that you need to know before you go to tell somebody. Because the other person will ask good questions. Where did you get the information? Where did it happen? How did it happen? What happened? Where? Those details. So this is the law of now research. Hear something, read about it, research about it, so that you go into details of it. When you take things just lightly, you can end up being learned, but not studious. But you're supposed to study these things so that when you are now going to maybe impact somebody else, they will be flowing from inside you because you've studied them. They have sunk very well into your system. Because this is the law that requires a lot of thinking. You think about the information, you meditate about the information, And you see, meditation is now when you now engage your heart. You can sit somewhere and now start engaging your heart. How does this thing happen? You reason it out. Where did it happen? And then it's an area that now requires keenness. And meditation can be done somewhere, anywhere. Whether you are in the house, maybe you are eating, cooking, walking, you can always meditate. Meditation is not worrying. Meditation is just engaging your heart. And it requires time. You are not supposed to be in a hurry. You take your time to do the research. And then you find the fine details of the information that you're looking for. So in this law number 3, it is a law now that wants somebody who is very keen, and the person who wants now to be above everybody else. A lot of people don't go to that level of researching and thinking into details, things. They just know it on the light note. It is like this and that, and that's the end of it. But somebody who now wants to even invent something, these are the type of people now who go into this level of entering into this level of deep thinking and asking questions. There are these two brothers who invented flying. When they went to ask an expert in astrology about how possible it is to fly, that human being can fly, the expert told them just easily that it's impossible. That will violate the law of gravity. But the two brothers did not give up. They went ahead to do research, and that's how they end up inventing flying. And nowadays you see people flying everywhere. So I want to leave you there because I'm really feeling so pressed in my throat. We are going to continue digesting all these things so that they can sink very well to our viewers. So you need to always ensure that you keep on the watch, you subscribe, and follow everything that you are doing. Finally, just the lesson that you should know now that you can file is that you can only file and classify information in our heart by asking and answering. You know, that's the lesson in this law 3 that you need to remember. You can only file them, classify them in your heart by asking questions and answering the questions. That's the bottom line of the classification law. If you don't answer tough questions into the information, you will not be able to classify them well. So get the information, ask tough questions about it. How did it come about? Research them, and you come to a certain conclusion, which now will be a very informed conclusion, and that information will be mastered. It will be mastered because once you've gone to a level of researching, there's no way you can forget about such a thing. You will always remember what you did and everything, and then that information will always be alive in your system. Let me just leave you with those until we meet in the next video. I thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God's blessing.